Hi there. Welcome to our home. I wish that was really happening where I could open the door right here and say, hey, hi, come on in. Let's sit down and chat. So we're doing it virtually. Here we are. I was scheduled to be in front of your wonderful MOPS group and things have changed. And so Ashley reached out and said, hey, would you mind recording a talk and just a little bit to encourage our mamas? And I said, 100%, I can do that. And I'm happy to be able to hopefully bring some encouragement and maybe a little bit of laughter to your right now life. And right now, your life is not what you expected. And I've actually been in situations like that before where life as it was going along suddenly was not what I expected. And in those times, it's very unsettling and very, disorienting. It's kind of like you're standing in the middle of a rowboat and you're standing, which you're not supposed to be doing in a rowboat. You're supposed to be sitting. So it's this, I don't know, where's the ground, right? Where's the ground? And I just want to take a few minutes to encourage you with some of the things that I've been able to receive as a mentor mom for our MOPS group up here in the Bay Area, which has been really fun. So here's one thing. We have a text group, my little table group. Our group is the Joyful Table. Now, I'm assuming you guys do things somewhat similarly since it's, MOPS International, and the theme this year is To the Full. So I'm just gonna roll with that. And if you're at the Joyful Table, you can pretend I'm your mentor mom for today. And one of the things that we do every time we get together is we do a check-in. We go around the table and we just kind of check in. What is today? What is now for you? And anything is on the table. We have had some really sweet, deep conversations and some uproarious belly laughter where other tables are looking over at us and wondering, what are we talking about? I hope that's the case for you and your table, that you're connecting, that you're in real life, well, as much as technology is in real life, connecting with one another, because that is a part of what life is supposed to be like. Connection. And when we are in situations where we are feeling disconnected, it's the most important thing we can do to reach out to somebody, to a person who will at least give you a quick text back. We need connection to live life to the full. Like our verse this year says, John 10:10, the thief came to steal, kill, and destroy, but I came that they might have life and have it to the full. Right now, our lives are so, like I said, disorienting. It doesn't feel like it's full of anything but, perhaps bad news. And that's a way of looking at things. But I want to encourage you today that you can choose to look at the very same circumstances through another lens. What might God be up to? So I want to just play a little game with some of the cards that MOPS International has sent me. And let's consider this a way of reminding ourselves. What might God be up to? Well, here's the first idea. He might be up to a new thing. We don't know what that thing is, but God promises us through his word that he doesn't change. He is, I love this big theology word, immutable. So when you can read in a portion of the Bible that he is a rock, he is our shield, he is our fortress, he is with us, these things are not changing. The weather can change, The circumstances of our life can change, but God doesn't change. So keep that idea as we keep unpacking some of these other things. One of the ways that we can be assured about who God is for us to be still. Psalm 46:10 tells us to be still and know that I am God, not me, God. That's what he says to us. Be still and know that I am God. Now, you have little people at home. Being still only happens in microcosms of time. I know that. But honestly, wherever you see that opportunity of quiet, take that time for you to be still. And honestly, you can learn to be still on the inside when things on the outside are not still at all. That's a fun practice. It's like being a ninja. You can stand and be in the middle of all this chaos and breathe deeply and say, God is still God. This is crazy making right now, and it often can be, but God is still God, and he is still the same, unchanging. Another thing that we can remind ourselves of is to be fearless, or to simply fear less. How can we do that in the middle of all these crazy things that are happening on the news? Well, one of the challenges is to actually keep reminding yourself of what is true. Back to what I just said, God is still the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. So his purposes and plans are not going to be shaken. Where we find ourselves today is not a surprise to him. As my friend Sue Donaldson has once said, God knew about this 250,000 years ago. He's not surprised. So remind yourself of what is true and fear less. But when you are afraid, because we are afraid at different times, when you are afraid, go to him with your fears. In 1 Peter 5:7, it tells us to cast all our cares upon him because he cares for us. He cares for us. He came that we might have life and have it to the full. This is how it's done. Your emotions can ride along every day, but don't let them drive. You take them to God, and he will give you peace. That's in his word too. Okay, so what else can we do? We can remind ourselves that I lack nothing. Everything you need. You have every spiritual blessing in the heavenlies. You have no lack. Right now, I feel like I have no time. Do you feel like that? I mean, you have time, but time to yourself. Or maybe time to think without a lot of noise. Or maybe time to take a bubble bath. Or whatever you normally do. Go out for a run. Whatever it is, you lack nothing. Even your imagination, redeemed by God, can be used by him to help your creativity, to find ways to do some of the things that you have done in the past for yourself, to be filled up so that you can be poured out for your kids, for your family, for your friends that you're checking in with through Marco Polo or Zoom or FaceTime or whatever app you're using, WhatsApp. I mean, all the things, right? Do those things, but make that time to remind yourself, I lack nothing. I lack nothing. And this one I love. It is said a couple of different places in scripture, which is all the more encouraging. I'm reading it backwards. All things are possible. So for me, my favorite part of scripture that says this is in Mark chapter 9, when a dad brings his son who has been thrown in the fire and thrown in the water by an evil spirit. And the father says, if you can do anything, help us. And Jesus said, if I can, all things are possible to him who believes. And the father says, I do believe. Help me in my unbelief. And women, we need to be honest about that. We have places where we don't believe. Jesus didn't wag his finger at that father because he didn't have faith. He healed his son. He reminded him that all things are possible to him who believes. And the father honestly said, I do believe. Help me in my unbelief. May that be the way that you come before Jesus and say, I do believe in who you are, but there are things that I have such a hard time trusting and believing. He'll meet you right there. That's the beautiful thing. And finally, in that honesty, in that reaching out, you will have life to the full. How is that done? Not all at once. It's done moment by moment. As I was praying and considering what might be a great word of encouragement for you all, I got an email from one of the steering committee members from our MOPS group. And she was writing to all the MOPS mamas in our group, reminding them that this doesn't feel like life is to the full, but that's exactly what this verse is about. The enemy came to steal, kill, and destroy. Steal your joy. Kill your enthusiasm. Destroy the hope that you have. That's the enemy. But Jesus came that we might have life to the full. Now, I just want to end by sharing this beautiful, simple prayer. God, when circumstances arise that steal my hope, remind me of your goodness. Show me how to live life to the full. He wants to do that for you right now, and in the next now, and in the next now, so that you have peace, you have hope, and you have assurance. God is not changing. This is a crazy set of circumstances, but you can have life to the full in Him. Thanks, friends.